more focus. So you're not going to be cognitively flexible. You're not going to be able to plan. You're not going to be able to do abstract reasoning when you're in pain. And I really know that for so many light workers, you are brought up in pretty painful families because in the beginning of life, all light workers are experiencing the contrast of what you're here to be and to express. And the
That's right.
contrast is very, well, as you know, it's a very painful place of, I'm just going to say, toxic family patterns, toxic relationships, narcissistic abuse, all kinds of abuse. From that space, that kind of pre-wires your brain to be in trauma mode. And when your brain is in trauma mode, there's a loss of gray matter. And gray matter is very important to the overall function and health of the brain, especially in certain parts, but in all parts it matters. And so those of you who have been working so hard to move beyond pain and trauma, to rise above the situations you've been given, please do not punish yourself for not being motivated, for not putting in enough effort, for not doing this, and that. Because when the very physical brain has been changed, what is required goes beyond all the superficial fixes. So this is why I'm so glad I'm able to create this package and with the help through light language that the Arcturians are able to give me healing frequencies through light language. And as you know, light language brings in frequencies that are not yet in human language and it bypasses a rational mind. So then we can create energetic neurogenesis and also begin to heal and reclaim the amount of gray matter. And the beautiful thing about this is that in your Akashic records, there's beautiful records of your optimal brain with the optimal amount of gray matter. So it's not something that I redesign or I figure out or whatever. I am just connecting the points and places that need to be connected for the body to remember how to reactivate all this for themselves. So, I'm not like the genius who figure all these things out. No, no, no. It's how it needs to be done is, I'm so grateful. It's given to me by doctorians and also because I study neuroscience. And actually, I just want to say I've been studying neuroscience and psychology, and I'm transferring into a different program in the fall. So in in September, I will be studying medical anthropology, something I've been wanting to study for so long. So
Wow.
I'm always like challenging myself to really do something about neuroplasticity, to make neuroplasticity a part of my life rather than an abstract concept. So, yeah.
I find this to be amazing. And Jade, I didn't know about all this. I'm going to share a screen. Hopefully, y'all can see this. But I did not realize the connection. Can y'all see my screen? This is just kind of an AI overview. Gray matter volume, particularly in the prefrontal cortex, directly linked to motivation and reward processing. So literally, if you feel like you're unmotivated, you can't move forward, you don't feel like you have a growth mindset, Jade is actually right. It's that reduced gray matter, and it can even move you more towards addiction type behaviors and reward seeking behaviors that are not necessarily beneficial. And adolescence and health, reduced gray matter in certain areas, such as this thing, the caudate nucleus, have been observed in depressed adolescents, impacting their motivation. So it's so interesting that like we come here as light workers and we experience certain events because that's what our soul path is, but those soul paths could be those that impacted the gray matter, which then now later in life are like, why are we not as able to move forward? That's extremely interesting. And thank you, because I've never heard that before.
Yeah, yeah. So, and because I work with amazing people like all of you, and you guys have been so amazing, what how courageous and
Hmm.
vulnerable you are in my one-on-one sessions. And you share with me about your struggles, what you do. And I know how gifted you are. And I can just tell that the inner struggle, the self-blame, even if you try to be positive, I can feel the self-blame. And I thought, wait a minute, this is not right. And I have access to, a world-class university, and I just want to explore that. And so this is what that whole year of studying has taught me to look at, that my goodness, even what we call personality, we think in so many coaching spaces, you are taught to like rewire your subconscious belief, use
Hmm.
NLP, use this, use that, rewire your subconscious, and then you're a new person. That is really so, even though it is deep and beautiful and wonderful and it's good intention, and I can see, I listen to all of you saying, I've been to so many seminars, I'm even certified to do this, and I reprogram myself. And my reality is still the same. What are you doing different? And it's like, wow, I just happen to be lucky. But I found that is the structure, the very matter of the brain, the different parts that you have to have, like the myelin sheath has to be in a good space. Uh, the gray matter has to be in a good space. There has to be enough fluid, craniosacral
Mm.
fluid in flow. The how the craniosacral fluid flows in the brain will allow the brain to receive the nutrients and also to release neurotoxins. And if that part of the brain isn't working, then you're stuck. And so in one of my MP3s on neurotoxins, I really work on a system that's really even talk about. It's called a glymphatic system. The glymphatic system stands for glial lymphatic system, and that's the brain's cleanup system. Um, Through cerebrospinal fluid, it just brings it all the toxins, the extra proteins and protein spikes, and cleans that up. But what is required for that is deep, deep, deep sleep. And I know so many of you light workers and empath, getting the deep sleep that allows the brain's own lymphatic system to work is a huge thing for you. So that MP3, I think on package A, is like a must have.
Wow. Wow, very interesting. You're absolutely right. I mean, I became certified in hypnosis and NLP about 20 years ago, and I think it's great. And you kind of understand how your mind works, but that's the mind, not necessarily the brain. And if there is structural changes in the brain, I don't know anyone that deals with that, and that is super important. And that is a whole other area. So I really appreciate it. And you've done things with teeth, you've done things with eyes. So I'm like, yeah, well, it's time to move on to this. I'm getting a question from a few callers here. One person wrote in and they said, "Is it harder to change the brains in older people? Do you see that neuroplasticity become different as people age, or that ability to maybe shift some of these things become different as we get older?"
You know, I think the easy answer is a yes, but I'm going to say no because older people are more aware. And because you are more aware of what's going on, and you are also more conscious of food intake, sleep, you are more conscious of your habits and you have more control of your habits, that's what's going to change things. Because young people, while their brain is still maturing and growing, so it looks like, oh, they are doing good, it's easier for them. But actually, in the long run, it's the habits that build a brain. And
Mm,
so, in that way, I'm going to say young people are more spontaneous and more, they live more in the moment,
yes.
and not so much about long-term thinking and all that. So I think when it comes down to it, maybe younger people have it easier for in the immediate future, but in the long run, I think that the person who's more capable of changing the brain is the one who is consistent with habit. And that could be
Well,
anybody, young or old. Mhm.
okay, and everyone get ready because we are going to be activating a flow state. We're also going to be taking live callers. We want to support you, and we may even get some yawning from Jade and some initial clearing here as we get started. Jade, should we do that? I always feel like it's great to talk, and words are awesome, but let's maybe do a little bitty Jade taster, maybe a minute or two, as we just kind of all get into unison here on this very fun evening where we're going to begin changing our brain, changing our life. Can we get a little minute or so?
Sure, maybe I'm gonna to set us up for what we're doing later by start
Ooh.
clearing the ventricles of the brain. And again, that part of us, like hardly anybody works on it. We know the heart has ventricles, but how many of you know your brain also has ventricles, and that's where the cerebral spinal fluid moves around,
Oh, okay. Wow.
right?
Yes. Yeah, sign me up. I'll take that.
Okay. Okay, so let's put all of us in a beautiful cocoon of light. And thank you, guys and angels, for surrounding everybody with light and protecting the space and making the space so sacred that only that which is for your highest and best can come through. Thank you, Arcturians, for being here. Thank you, Ascended Masters. Thank you, all the angels. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to work on ventricle 1 and 2. Those are by the temple. Korea to Barea Kumata Kumasha Kumakoria Kumashatu Kumakuya Kumakuria Kupakia Kutikaka. Rish kore Kumakoria Kumata Kumakotakia Kumaturia Kumatuchikana Kadita. Moving to ventricle 3. Shutari Bedorika Kumakoshata Wu Shishoshamato Titamato Dida Petiataka. Pushna Korite, Pushna Kopu, Fushashu, Fushashu Matu Koreato Ba. And then the tubing from 3 to 4 is usually where a lot of energy is stuck. So I'm gonna go slow in this part. Pararuka ye kuma kohea hoyaka. Shanokore akuma ko akumeti kote te kote te kota katu rori te karati ka kote ka. Tushe to kore to da tarome akuma shato ko akupata ko aka. Urari ko shanokoro ti to kote akuma ko akumati kakuma shato ko kaka. And now ventricle 4. Oreatu ti shishishishimati koatu. Shimahi hako hi hako moko paroatu pareatu didu pitakato. And bring it all the way down. Spine. Fortitu shito buddha pitu buddha kumafuatu titamachi chapati kataku. Turaku kakiaku matiku batu tapatiaku matikata. Shitumati kumati torati tomati atoti temati shito rutika. Shidikuria to kumarakia kumashatuti tapataki kumarakua chiktatamachakudeta. And everything we just clear out, let's fill all those ventricles with love and light. Shema 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 kiyako shinotuki totete mate kokoriato botaga kumashidara gikaka. Urukiyako aruki nakayaku mata kumachaka. Kia suda, kia soti kumato kushikatako patia chumachakata pudia chakata pataka. And as I'm clearing the lymphatic system, the improved flow, I can see that C1 and C2 and many people have a little bit of stuckness. So I'm gonna just work on everybody C1 and C2. And some of it, for a few of you, you've been wanting to clear this since birth because it's from birth trauma.
Mm.
All right. bless us with light, with light, with love, with love. And let's put everybody in the highest flow of universal energy so that the cosmic intelligence and the cosmic energy that's required to keep this healing moving forward for you, you will now be so connected with that this healing continues for you naturally, complete ease. Sorry, I'm going back to bed. Bye.
Well, at least there's not a bed in your background like last time. You blurred that out so we don't go to sleep. I mean, I feel like this huge yawn
Yes,
is
I'm
just
blurring
going.
my bed out because I didn't make my bed on time. Just kidding.
I feel like, well, it is early. I feel like there's this huge just like yawn, but it's also very much like a somatic release, right? And it's so important to be calm in the body. Whatever we want to hold this calm state in the body, that our body is safe, that we are safe. Does anyone feel safer now after doing this? Let's see. Wonderful. So much yawning. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, lots of people already feeling. Anyone feel safer? Yes. Yes, I feel safer. Good. Good. Um, if you want to anchor a new reality, your body has to feel safe in that new reality. So this is a great thing to feel safe, to calm, to get out of those centers where we're just amped up. Wow. I had another question. Some people are asking about energy. This was in Toria. Curious about light workers feeling energetically attacked, especially related to neurology or mental planes that seem to link up with diminished life force. So, the idea that we can kind of get pulled in or energetically drained and things, be careful where you go visit, guys. Be careful. But what do you see with that? Do you see ever things affecting the brain as you're going in and looking at this?
I think that anything can affect the brain because wherever we go, hopefully our brain comes with us. And so, and it's how we process reality inside our brain. So everything impacts our brain. But now that you know
Hmm.
how how it all works, you can protect it a little better. And I know that for a lot of you, like what I just did should clear. I was going to say your sinus and your migraines and all that should get clear because a lot of times we treat migraines as
Mm.
a blood vessel thing or whatever, but maybe the blood vessels are compressed because the ventricles have not been allowed to move energy and to move the craniosacral fluid in it. So there's a lot of things that are moving around for all of you. And since you're in this calm space, I have a surprise for you.
Ooh, okay.
I'm thinking, and you can tell me now, what if you feel comfortable with having a lot of money? Will you all like me to do that process for you?
Mm.
Because a lot of times when we come from lack, and speaking for myself, I I'm not from a wealthy family. We struggle as new immigrants in this country, working in sweatshops and working in restaurants and the whole new immigrant experience, which I'm grateful for because it's making
Yeah.
me very resilient and makes everything I experience that much more joyful, I'm that much more grateful for the life I have. And I remember how much I didn't feel safe receiving money. Like I told many people about how I don't know how I get here where I'm able to receive money. Like, thank God there's PayPal because if I was asking people for money for my work, I would be like, just pay me what you have.
Yeah.
And
No,
I'm
it's
okay with that. And one day somebody, this bitch, reached into her bag and gave me a few bagels. And I'm like, holy F, I gotta be real. So that's why I have to look at. I wasn't even feeling safe receiving money. This may also be one of the issues for many of you light workers because you're
Yes.
empathic. You are born in families that are not exactly wealthy. And now that you're in this state of calm, I want to use it for good. And I want you to be comfortable with success and
Hmm.
really calm and comfortable and one with having lots of money. Because again, it's your energy and your identity that kind of sets up your life, what you're able to
Yeah.
receive. Okay. All right. So everybody has a checking and savings account. You can imagine seeing your checking and savings account in your mind.
Yes.
Okay, let's begin with $1,000. Feel safe having $1,000. And trust that you're not going to go gamble it away. And if you do, it's okay. It's 1,000 only. If you're going to spend it all on bagels, I'm going to get you. I'm just kidding. Okay. So this is just adding another zero. Let's do 10,000. And because, ooh, and it's safe for you to have 10,000 in your bank account.
Mm.
Absolutely safe. Yeah. And thank you for your courage and vulnerability in acknowledging how uncomfortable it is to feel. Uh, because yeah, and we don't need to figure out all the reasons you're uncomfortable. What we're gonna do is discharge that and thank that feeling for letting us know your journey, your sacred journey, your hero's journey, what you have to work through, right? So 10,000, have 10,000, have it. 10,000.
Mm.
Well, let us know in the chat box what begins to feel like it's fun and safe and amazing for me to have this 10,000 to play with, money to play with. What does that trigger in you,
Mm.
right?
Well, Tina says, I feel kind of sick when I think of 1,000. So this is it's a real touch point.
Yeah, your pulse becoming intense because having didn't always feel safe. Uh, and I'm just gonna share my family uh, was in a communist country where if you were a landowner, you were punished. So for the longest time, I couldn't even think about owning a house. And all my friends are like, don't you have money now? Blah, 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 blah. So I have to heal that part of me that feels safe owning. And so if you're feeling that way, yeah, acknowledge the sacred journey you're on and just see how much you have overcome in life. You're amazing. You are amazing, amazing to have overcome so much and to change family patterns. So maybe you're the one in your family that's changing inherited family patterns or inherited cultural patterns because
Hmm.
communism wasn't just in China, it was in many parts of the world. But it's not even about that, but it's about your own hero's journey. Honor all that you've been through that's making you courageous, resilient, and compassionate.
Yes. Mm. Yep.
Okay, so the 10,000 is feeling good, people, and I know you deserve more. So let's add another zero. Let's go into 100,000. Is that okay for us to go into 100,000?
Let's see what people say. Some people having anxiety. So this is where you may want to work with Jade. I'm just going to be honest. This is a way to kind of focus. Okay, I need work on this, right? Um, so just be aware, and there's no right or wrong. It's just an awareness, and then you have a area to move forward on. That's all, right? So
Yeah.
a couple people ready to move forward, some people feeling tightness, some people ready for 100,000. Anybody anybody ready for 1 million? I'm sure there's somebody out there. Yeah, so a lot of people ready. That's good. I mean, this is why we create the space, so you can really have this like, okay, I'm ready. So yeah, let's go.
Yes, and I'm glad that I get to do this with you today because I plan, well now it's no longer a secret. I plan to do this in our group healings
Oh,
because
wow.
I want nothing more than for all of you to be living a life of financial freedom. And it's so different. Financial freedom, maybe you don't need $1 million. Whatever amount that feels like financial freedom to you, think about that. And then in our group calls, I will definitely work with you because when you have that, it changes everything in your life. That level of financial freedom changes everything, changes how you show up in life, changes what's available to you, gives you the confidence to know that, man, you're one powerful freaking manifestor. Oops, oops, oops. Yeah.
Mhm. That's okay. We've had freaking, we've had some other things. It's quite all right. It won't blow up our line. Let's see what's going on, especially women who have a history of being financially marginalized. Yeah, absolutely. We have to shift the power structures in the plan. This is why I tell people, as a light worker, work on receiving so that you can change the circulation patterns of the planet and it can go to you instead of maybe like some giant bank that's, worth bajillions of dollars. Let it go to the person helping animals or helping the sick or etc. So, you're the conduit and we're opening it up today. I love it. I love it. Okay, so few people ready for 1 million. And if you're not, just I don't want people to really get stressed. So if you don't feel you're ready, that's okay. Just say, not now or maybe later or,
Mhm.
not for me. That's okay. That's okay.
Mhm. And I also want to stress that it's not so much about the money because money is the result. But when you're comfortable with the result, you're going to get there and then you're going to become the person who's ready to receive. So it works both ways, right? It's not about the money, but money is the result. When you realize that that result you're comfortable with, you're going to get there and then you're going to be able to make the changes in your life to get there. So it has to work both ways. And I know that you are already fantastic people. So I'm not saying that you need to change it all. So maybe all you need is to be comfortable and confident about having $1 million, feeling safe because you are already doing a lot of self-healing. And I know that you guys are amazing people who are very sassy and smart about healing. So maybe that's the missing piece for you. And it's not about the money, but because money is the result. It reflects how much of your own gifts you are able to activate and bring to the world. And there's no one more deserving than light workers.
Mm, that's right. That's right. And also when you can receive 1 million, you can also receive the $1 million of gifts that you have inside of you because you can recognize your own value. I mean, it's what's happening inside is what you're seeing on the outside. So it's always an inside game. So are you ready to receive the $1 million of gifts and talents and abilities and uniqueness that you also have that you've had buried away inside? So yeah, I think they're ready. I don't know if we're going to go to 1 million. I don't know what's on the agenda today, but I'm just saying they're ready, whether it's now or later. I don't
No,
know what's going to happen. Okay.
yeah, there's a lot more to it. This is a taster.
Yeah.
And of course, when I have a
Yes.
whole hour to work with you and the group calls, we will definitely go into working with the real resistance. But this is a setup so that you are prepared
Hmm.
for the group calls where we will go into a deep dive and supporting you to be the
Hmm.
person who can activate that, who can embody that and live that. It's really honoring a part of you that is so gifted, honoring the part of you that has so much value to give to the world. So the $1 million, the whole money thing is not about the money, but about honoring the gift of you.
All right.
Yes. Oh my God, look at all the hands. I cannot believe that we have gone on for so long that there's
Okay.
so many more hands. Okay, should we take some callers? I know you guys
Yeah,
been waiting
let's do that.
patiently.
Do we need to still do the million? Because I could see myself getting a lot of like unhappy fan mail. Are we gonna do the million, or do we want to do that in the process at the end?
Wow, I'm going into a deeper process in the end, and maybe
Okay.
the million,
Okay.
maybe I can tie that in, maybe. How much
Okay.
are you paying me? No.
Well, and the other thing is, guys, it's about integration. I say this all the time. Everybody's like, yeah, do it all. It's like sometimes we need to sort of attune to one level and then get to the next level and the next level and the next level. My first goal when I started my business as an entrepreneur was I just wanted to make like $500. And then it was like, okay, a little more and a little more and a little more. And I brought my body along with me all the way. So you want to bring that
I wanted
somatic.
more than a couple of bagels.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Well, I gotta tell a story. I don't say this much, but this was something that just happened in February. I think you probably seen on our emails, we talk about feeding starving kids. We've been doing that for years, right? With some of our proceeds. Now, I thought we had only fed about 80,000 kids. So for years I said, oh, 60,000, 80,000. In February of 2026, I got an email from one of the directors of the organization that we donate to, and she said we had fed 141,000 meals to starving kids. So it wasn't double what I thought, but it was a way more than I ever thought. So I tell people it's like you can't be afraid of money if you're gonna help. You gotta just say, give it to me. I deserve it.
Yes, that's awesome. Wonderful. Oh, that's
hmm
beautiful.
Yeah, it's wild. So, all right, Tina, we're gonna go with you. You're the first one with your hand raised. What question do you have for our beloved Jade-Yin today?
Hello, Jade. Hello, Darius. Thanks for calling me. Um, I'm working on, I'm trying to think how to word this. I have a health thing, but I'm trying not to label or anything. One, because labels don't seem to help. I did go to the doctors, but they're trying to fear monger me into some things. But more I'm finding it seems to be extremely rare, which seems to follow in my family. And I'm wondering if I don't create these rare things because in my family, we always seem to have really rare stuff that shows up. Is it in my brain? Like, I don't know if it's becoming more of a brain thing that I'm creating this, or I don't know.
Well,
I don't.
first
I
of
don't know if I
all,
even said this right because it's since we're
yeah.
on here. I want to be careful how I say things. Is what I'm trying to. So I don't really know how to put this really.
Well, actually, I don't want you to feel like you have to say things a certain way because that's blocking your self-expression.
Okay, right.
Please feel free, everybody, to use any
Okay. I have
words.
stuff growing out of my arm. Literally, like I took they're fibers coming out of my skin, and I took a um ultraviolet black light to it, and like there's a lump now on my left arm that I've been working on, and I see it coming out like it's really strange, and I don't know what's going on. And I came across something online which put me down a rabbit hole and really freaked me out. And I don't want to be scared, and I'm not really sure.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for your courage in sharing that and being here, sharing this in front of other people. It's not the easiest thing. Thank you so much, Tina, for being you. So I'm just gonna tap into your energy. And since you mentioned family, I'm gonna just tap into all the miasms in the family system because I trust that you know what you know. However, this is wired in your DNA and RNA and the parts of your brain that have this memory. We're gonna allow that part of the brain to now wire for health. Healthy body and whatever Those symptoms served. Thank you, body, for showing that. You know, we're going to clear this from your body. And on a cellular level, you have DNA, RNA, mitochondria of every cell, the nucleus of every cell, cellular memories, wherever it's wired in the brain. And now let's clear all protein spikes in the body and energy. And this works for anyone who may have that problem. So protein spikes are always good to clear. Oh. All right, Tina, and I'd be so happy to work with you on a one-on-one, but how are you feeling right now?
I feel more peaceful. I feel
Yeah,
calming. Yeah.
that's
Thank you.
wonderful.
And I think one-on-one would be great. If I could get the funds together to do it, I think you would be the person to really help me with this. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank
Well, we
you.
have another process, and Tina, I appreciate you just being really clear that you are going to, find your own direction, but, listen carefully to what they're saying, but then, determine what you're going to do. And that's like really important to balance everything. Sending big love, and everyone, if we could just send some love and prayers to Tina and just some gratitude for her, because what she brings out, a lot of us also feel, a lot of us also go through, right? The world tells us something, and we've got to feel in, and we've got to really like find our own truth, and we've got to also manage the outer world and the inner world. I'm going to go to Vicky, and Vicky, thank you for raising your hand. How can we help you today? What's going on?
Hi, thank you so much for calling me. And I did put this intention out there, so the fact that you called, I think it's okay.
That's
Um,
awesome.
um, there's always stuff for me. We're on a journey, but I was really hoping that I would get picked because my 10-year-old kitty needs some help. And I'm living in a place where there's no holistic veterinarian. I don't have the thousands of dollars that they want. I don't think she needs it. Um, she's got a bladder infection and something going on with her renal glands. So if Jade, if you would please assist her, I'd be greatly appreciated.
Yes, Vicky, I'd be happy to do that. Yeah, okay, Kitty, okay. And refill your bladder and kidneys with light, light, light.
Thank you, thank
Good.
you, thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay.
All right. Wow. Okay. So let us know what happens. All right. I
I
want to go
will.
to. Okay. Thank you, Vicky. And what was your cat's name?
Callie, Kali.
Oh, okay. Everyone
Kelly,
loved
oh,
to little Callie.
oh,
Oh, absolutely. The animal kingdoms really take it on, especially with us humans picking up stuff. So just sending big love to Callie. All right, I want to do Lucy. Lucy, we're gonna just go a little bit longer on Q&A because we did some money work. Why not, right? Lucy, what's happening, my dear? How can we help you?
I just have a question. I don't know if it's something that I need cleared or not, but I have this um pressure that's been in my top of my head for about at least 6 months now. It moves around. It feels very putty-like, and my energy person doesn't really know what it is. I've tried to tap into it, and I'm just kind of curious, Jade, if you can get a reading on what it is. It kind of responds to my mood. It's like it showed up one night after I was kind of bombarded with a lot of energy from, let's just say, very narcissistic people. And it's been here every day with me. It moves around, and I'm just curious to know what it is. It can be really like behind my,
Mm.
anyways, it feels like it's in my crown chakra.
Yeah, I see it. It actually feels like something ET-ish. So I'm just seeing what I can do to remove it for you. And I'm gonna ask help from the violet flame to remove all the ET parasites around your head. Okay, we'll see how that changes things for you.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
All right, very interesting. Okay, yeah, let us know. And Jade, I think we're ready to do the deep energetic flow state. Anything you want to share about this and kind of how this ties into what we've been talking about with neuroplasticity mastery?
Yeah, so deep flow state really allows you to not only do your work, but it allows the brain to go into deep healing because our brain, our bodies have everything it needs to self-heal. So this will activate that as well as putting you in this deep state of creativity so that you can access more of your gifts as you are dynamic light workers. Okay,
Yes.
let us begin by putting light around everyone. And let's just remove all distraction and bring energy to the part of the brain, the corpus callosum. I think it's the interior cingulate gyrus.